Hello, friends from the comic book world. My name is G, and I'm here to talk about the July 1st, 2024 FOC. I work for Penguin Random House, so the titles that you'll see today are those that we can sell internationally. Aside from this YouTube channel, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X at PRH International Comics, where you'll see our posts and updates and news on there. So definitely check us out on those channels. And I'll go ahead and get started on this week's picks, which the first up we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 54. This is by the cover by Yasmin Putri. And I particularly like this. As a note, it's a 1 in 25 ratio variant. Just seeing our superhero here changing out of civilian clothing into his costume, and I just love how the clothing, like his shirt and his jeans, it's in a shade that looks very similar to the pigeons or the birds you see flying out. So like it kind of looks like like an Animorph progression, but he's not turning into a pigeon. He's turning into his superhero costume. And it's just very beautifully done. The angle leading up to the top of the bridge, it's just like so perfectly depicted. And yeah, this is one of my favorite covers for this week. And next up, we have Werewolf by Night. This is the Red Brand issue number 1, Sean Galloway, Saturday morning variant. This will be polybagged. And I just love the dichotomy of a very obviously mature content that has to be sealed, but this cover, which is so wholesome and cute and adorable looking. I very much am taken by the oranges and the bacon with smiley faces. We have Captain America and Wolverine in like a posture here. um, and sort of presenting Hulk cereal but with this adoring group of fans in the grocery store. It's just very cute, even though there's violence inside of the actual pages of the comic. So yeah, had to include this. And then next up, we have actually a new number 1. This is Guilt Frame. This is by Matt Kent. And what a lovely cover. And it makes sense with the premise of the plot because it looks like a piece of art that you could hang on your wall, which is what I'm going to do. And this is about Sam, who's in his early 20s. He's an orphan, but he gets taken in by his Aunt Mary. And his aunt is very eccentric, has like a penchant for collecting antiques and loves to travel. And together, Sam and his aunts, they go on adventures. They have solved mysteries in the past with like notorious murderers and such around the world. They're on a Parisian vacation, which is cut short, unfortunately, when they stumble upon a murder scene that is very, very bizarre. That, like, when they see the scene, only a raging psychopath could have produced such a scene. And so they are on this mission to solve the crime. They have to wrestle with these jewel thieves, these art forgers, gun runners. There's this lost puppy that gets involved, and they get involved with this French detective who actually might solve the crime before they do. So it's a 64-page giant size special launch of a number 1. So definitely don't want to miss out on this. Again, Matt Kent art and writing on this, and yes, with Marjorie Kent as well. And then next up we have Monster High. Um, oh, and I should mention, I'm like, let me go back. I should mention who Marjorie Kent is in case you don't know. I'm just assuming. So this is like a mom and son like team up, which I think is amazing and quite cool. So I love that for them too, especially when the story is in a sense, it's a son and mom in a sense, even though she's his aunt, but motherly figure as such. So I love that we have that going on the creative team as well. And then now moving on, we have Monster High. This is new Scaremaster issue number 1. This is cover A by Alianos. And this one, I obviously these are for fans, especially collectors who love these Monster High toys, dolls. And what I really like about this cover is that it actually does look like something that you could buy in stores. Like I could see this as a packaging with like a sciencey monster girl, with like all of her accessories and fashionable outfit as well. And it just like the house itself kind of looks like the edges of what the box would be when you purchase these Monster High dolls. So I just like the look of this so much. And yeah, and also if you haven't, I mean, if you haven't, we did put out the Free Comic Book Day issue of Monster High. So I don't know if you've picked that up or not. If you haven't, you should. But then this number 1 is something that I'm particularly interested in. And again, for fans, this is definitely for you. I've seen so many. This is like a good way to get non-comic book fans into it because of the cult following that these dolls have on their own right. So yes, so that's it for my picks for this week. I did want to go over some news that we usually do, and Seven Seas did announce some new licenses, and these two in particular, very interested in. First up, we have, um, oh gosh, my pronunciation here. Apologies in advance. Uh, Shanghai Fashion Records. The dramatic pause because I definitely got that wrong. But anyway, this is a Don May full cover colored adaptation, and it's in the same universe as Legend of Exorcism, and I'm still reeling about that horrible pronunciation, but I'm gonna keep continuing. So it's been 300 years since magic has disappeared from the divine land, and Chen Qing is the last great exorcist. He's a young man whose life is expected to end on his 20th birthday. There's these whispers about a return of a demonic entity known as Mara echoes across the land, and Shen Qing is burdened with this daunting task to seek out a fated like counterpart of his, a protector of martial gods. Together they have to save the world. That companion or counterpart is Shang Shu, who's a condemned man, has a haunted past, very handsome, skilled, facing execution for crimes that he didn't commit. And so their destinies are intertwined as they both embark on this journey together, where they seek salvation of everything that they know, which hangs in the balance. And this we do have world rights on, which is great. And then next up, we have Leave the Sacrifice at the Gate. This is a supernatural BL manga about like the snake god and his sacrificial offering. Um, we have Uzumaki, who was born to be a sacrifice. However, his family delivers him to a god who is actually supposed to eat him. And things don't quite go as expected. So the god is more interested in taking it easy than like he just doesn't. He's not all about the sacrificial offerings. He's like, I don't know, not about that life. So it totally ruins his trajectory and expectation. And he's still convinced though that the god is like gonna eat him because like that's what he was born for. But will he learn that there's more there's more to this than that? Maybe that's yeah, clearly on the cover. So yeah, definitely recommended for mature audiences with this one. So yes, yes, yes. Um and I like how he's holding him, but it's like in an X. And it looks like, I mean, he's lovingly being held right now, anyway, on the cover. So that concludes the news for this week. As always, I very much enjoy doing these videos, and so check us out next week. And yes, links in the description to our social media channels, and definitely comment down below correcting me on wrong pronunciations, or telling me what your picks are for this week. And yeah, that's it for the day. Bye, everyone.